everyone. Happy Tuesday. Holly went live earlier today and she shared how the both of us invite to the coaching opportunity publicly and how we run our sneak peek groups. And so I looked through the comments and I promised that I would answer your questions. So I think the one thing that stood out to me, and I get this question all the time from my coaches, is I work a full-time job. So how do I sell the coaching opportunity to people who are like, well, I'm already busy. I have a job, I have kids, I have a family. How do I tell people, hey, you want to take on another job? How do I share the benefits of coaching? And I totally get it. So for the first 2 years that I was a coach, I worked a full-time job. And I also went to grad school and I was pregnant and then I had a newborn. So I had a lot going on, but I knew where I was going with coaching. And so I just stuck with it. And I'm going to give you some tips right now. So Insta Stories wasn't around when I was still working my full-time job. But if I was still working a full-time job, here is exactly what I would do. So I would wake up. Hey, Carly. When you wake up, the second you wake up, you need to be getting on Insta Stories and making sure that it's also going to Facebook Stories as well and documenting your morning process. So do you do a miracle morning? Do you wake up and every day have a coffee, share, that kind of ritual, share your mug every day, share the time that you're waking up, and then share what you're doing. So do you do a devotional? Do you write in your gratitude journal? Do you do your personal development? Do you then do your workout? So that whole morning routine before you go to work, anything that has to do with your own personal growth, you better be documenting that on social media because people are following you for a reason. They're intrigued by you, and that is adding value. Showing people how you start your day, that's golden. And I would every day be very intentional with saying, this is my morning routine for coaching. This is setting my whole day up. I'm setting myself up for success. And then when you're at work, don't Insta story, right? You don't want to get in trouble. But at lunchtime, get back on Insta Stories and say, it's my lunchtime. It's time to do that lunchtime hustle. I'm so excited to check in with my challenge group and then maybe share your screen, show your computer screen or whatever, and scroll through your challenge group and say, oh my gosh, look at these ladies killing it. I'm so excited to check in on them. Now I'm checking into my team page and seeing what my team is up to. And this is how I enjoy spending my lunch hour. That's what I would do, or your lunch 20 minutes or however long you have, but you have to be using your lunchtime to build this business and documenting that's what you're doing and why you're so excited to do it. Remember that it has to be passion. You have to bring passion to everything that you do here. Then after work, say, Insta story, done with my work day, going home, getting my family and gonna check in on all my clients and team because I'm super excited to chat with them again. You have to be constantly showing how excited you are to leave your job, your life, and go home and work on this. Because that's intriguing to people. If people are like, oh my gosh, she's in the daily grind, but she's something to look forward to, right? For me, when I worked, I would look forward to coming home and sitting on the couch with my husband and doing nothing. And then coaching came into my life and I felt like, oh my gosh, I have a purpose. I can't wait to go home and be on social media and have that be my job. So document, okay, I'm getting my kids ready for bath time and responding to a few messages. Okay, kids are asleep. Now I'm going to respond to a few more messages. So Holly and I always do this. We make it a point to show how hard we're working in our Insta stories. So like I stay up late a lot and I will show that, hey, it's 2:30. I'm still responding to messages. I'm still up because I love doing this and I can't go to sleep. And so what happens is people are intrigued by that. They're like, okay, this is clearly something that you're passionate about. Like you're waking up early, you're staying up late, you're so excited to leave work and go do this. That's intriguing to people. And they know that it requires hard work. So if you want hardworking coaches, you have to show that you are a hardworking coach. So document every single coaching thing you're doing throughout the day in your stories. Now, How do you get people to find that appealing and attractive? So share your vision. So for me personally, I couldn't be on social media saying, I can't wait to quit my job and be a full-time coach. My boss followed me, my coworkers followed me, and I didn't want them to know that I was planning on quitting. They were blindsided when I actually submitted my resignation, and they begged me to actually stay longer, which I did, but they had no idea it was coming. But in personal private messages, I was telling everyone, hey, I'm on track to leave my job this year. Hey, I'm replacing my income with my coaching. I'm replacing my salary with my coaching income, and I'm going to do this full time and be at home with my baby. So privately, I was telling everyone my vision. Publicly, I wasn't, because I didn't want to get in trouble and I didn't want to get fired, right? I needed that income. So privately, tell people where you're going. Plant that seed. People would be like, really? Like, you can make enough like doing this coaching thing to like quit your job? And that was enough to be like, yeah, girl, like, why don't you come to my info group, my sneak peek group, and check it out? And then they would be like, okay, I'm intrigued now. So if you can't publicly share your vision, privately be sharing your vision. And then all throughout the day, be documenting your passion, your excitement, what you're doing with coaching. Share the community, share that aspect, because I loved my job when I started coaching, and then I started coaching just for it to be a side hobby, and I fell in love with it and realized, oh my gosh, like, I could be so passionate about this rather than just doing the daily grind of my job. So when people see that passion, that rubs off on them and they're like, I need that. Okay. Now, next is posting schedule. Somebody asked about that. And so if you're working a full-time job, I did this when I worked, and I still do this, okay? The weekends, I take a bazillion photos. We have a photo shoot every weekend with my husband and my daughter and my tripod, okay? I don't have a fancy camera. I just have an iPhone, but I go into the weekend saying, these are the 5 photos or 6 photos that I want to stage and take. And then we take those photos. I change my clothes. I change my daughter's clothes. I have like specific rugs and blankets that I bought to match my theme. So I like put those out. I assemble them. We take those photos. And I get inspiration from non-Beachbody coaches. So I follow a lot of like mom bloggers on social media, on Instagram, and I will take screenshots of photos that I really love. And then I'll try to be like, okay, I want to recreate this, or I want this vibe and this feel in this photo. So go into the weekend, we take a bunch of photos, and then I write a ton of content. So I say, this post is what I'm going to post on Monday morning. Every single Monday morning, I have a coaching post with a call to action to join my sneak peek group. Every single morning, Monday morning, because I know that is when I would be really miserable. I'd have to go to work. I'd have to put on my baggy pants because I couldn't button them after a weekend of stress eating because I was stressed about going back to work and having to leave my daughter. So I would be so miserable on Monday mornings, and I would go to work and I'd like, procrastinate and not do my work and be on social media and see what these other coaches were doing. So I want to hit those girls who are like me, who are feeling bloated and gross and are not happy at their job. I want them to see what I have done. So every morning I paint that vision and I share that story. So I take that photo in advance on the weekend and pretend like, hey, this is what I took this morning. I write it off as if I took it that morning. And then I have the post already written. And then Tuesday is always a Transformation Tuesday photo. And I typically take that photo in advance as well. So usually on like a Thursday or Friday, I wake up feeling really good. I snap my weekly progress photo and I make that collage. I write the post. Tuesday, I have it done. Wednesday or Thursday, I make a coaching post, so I will typically have one of those ready, and then again on Sunday. So those are my coaching posts, Sunday, Monday, and Wednesday or Thursday. I've switched that up, and then Tuesday is always a transformation photo, and then the other ones are just, I will take photos of just me and my daughter, just as those jabs that aren't necessarily like calls to action. So I write a lot of my content for my posts in advance. And that day I may change it up a little bit, but most of it is ready. So what I did when I was working a full-time job, I was doing the 21-day fix, and I knew every Monday was total body cardio, every Tuesday was upper body, every Wednesday was lower body, that thing. So I would be like, okay, Wednesday, lower body. I know that I want to talk about my thighs. So I would write a post that talks about my thighs and then say, you know, but this program is what is slimming them down. And then I would have that content ready to go. Wednesday morning, I'd wake up at 5 a.m., I'd do my workout, I'd take a photo, and I'd have the post already ready to go. I would just copy and paste it. I wasn't there frantically trying to write it. So I knew what workouts were coming, I knew what those challenges were that I faced, and that's how I addressed that. So Holly touched upon this, but this is my some of my struggle web. Okay, so I have like 5 papers like this with struggles, and this one is all about thighs. My thighs, because I've always been self-conscious about my thighs. So I have so many specific stories here about my thighs. And so each week I sit down and say, what story have I not shared in a while? I'm going to share this story on Wednesday when I do this specific workout, and I will pre-write it. And so during the week, it's just a lot easier to copy and paste, and I'm not frantic like, oh my gosh, I have to like make a post, I have to say something, and you know, I'm just going to slap some shit up there and hope that it sticks and is good. So I know that that doesn't work for everybody. Some people are like, I don't like that, it doesn't feel authentic. That's fine, but you have to remember that a lot of companies, they have social media calendars where all of their content is pre-written a month in advance. That's what they do. So I treat this very much like that business, and I pre-write as much content as I can to save myself the sanity during the week. And if you're working a full-time job, that should help you as well. So a little extra time on the weekend should help you. So breadcrumb your story, and somebody else was like, how do I breadcrumb it? I'm so terrible at breadcrumbing it, right? So these are all different stories for a specific thing. And each week I say, how can I share this specific tidbit? And then next week I'll share that specific tidbit. That's how you breadcrumb it so that people want to keep coming back for more. So think about your favorite sitcom, right? And you are so emotionally invested in those characters that when one episode ends, you're like, I have to put on the next one to see what happens to Marcy. That's what you want to create with your audience. You don't want to give them everything up front. You want them to be like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to hear what she says tomorrow. I can't wait to hear the rest of the story, or you know, whatnot. So that is the kind of mentality that I have when I go into my posts. I don't want to spill it all. I don't want to be too vague. I want to share very specific stories that relate to people on such a deeper level. Okay, so that's all I want to share with you. I hope that helped. If you have any questions, let us know, but get out there and start sharing your story, sharing your vision in private messages publicly.